mille belle, la moustache et la capuchon. Sito patanilo, mila takatiki puletika. Sito patanilo, mila takatiki puletika. Sito patanilo, mila takatiki puletika. Sito patanilo, mila takatiki takatiki. Sito patanilo, mila takatiki puletika. Sito patanilo, mila takatiki puletika. Sito patanilo, mila takatiki puletika. La mille belle, la moustache et la capuchon.
What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show, and today is my season prediction show. I wanted to get everybody else's prediction shows out the way because of the fact that I know a lot of times they steal my content. But it's all good. You know, I just love the fact that people love it, and that's all that matters. But I'm going to do mine right before the season, so I'm just going to go into it. I will say this. The Raging Tide, which is what I'm calling the Washington franchise because they look like the Crimson Tide of Alabama, so I'm going to call them the Raging Tide of Washington. So Washington's Raging Tide will have a very solid year, but what's going to play in their favor are injuries and the COVID. COVID is going to play a very major role in the Redskins winning and losing. So with that being said, I'm going to start off with the first game of the season, the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles come in with a very devastated team when it comes to injury, and that is going to play a major role in Washington winning this game. Washington, we will see for the first time our first round pick defensive line actually have a stellar game. Not only will they have a stellar game, I think we will also see the Washington Raging Tide sit up there and knock Carson Wentz out of his first game of the season. I think this defensive line is far more stout than we can even understand. Not only that, we will see a refurbished linebacking core that will sit up there and probably be far more dominant than we ever seen in prior seasons. With them doing that switch from the 3-4 to the 4-3, it's going to play a major role. Not only that, we will see that the Washington, we will have a glimpse of a secondary that may look good at first, but will probably collapse as the season goes on. With that being said, I do feel that we're going to see Dwayne Haskins have a very phenomenal game coming out the gate. We're going to see Terry McLaurin still on his role from what he did in previous years, even to this, from what he did last year to this year. We're going to still see the continuation of that. We're also going to see, when we really think about it, we're going to see Steven Sims Jr. step up even more. We're also going to possibly see Isaiah Wright at kick returner. I'm not sure if they're going to do Antonio Gibson to start off the game, but I think we will see Isaiah Wright. We will see what this new offense looks like with McKissick in the backfield, along with Gibson and everything else. And we will also get opportunity to see how they really will utilize that. We're also going to see how well this line and these tight ends play. If they play pretty badly, like I said, this may be a close game, but it may be more points driven than we think. To me, I currently feel that right now this game is going to be, the score for this game is going to be 27-17 Raging Tide, as because I just feel with all the injuries that the Eagles are coming into this season with, it's not going to be a surprise game. It's going to be a fortunate game for the Raging Tide. And with that being said, Raging Tide wins 27-17. I think it's going to be 27-14. 27-14 to the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to see Dwayne Haskins have a good game. We're going to see a great defense. We're going to actually see a complete team game when it comes to the Raging Tide. Next game, the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this will be the very best test that the Raging Tide will see this season when it comes to actually having to take on a team that has a multitude of weapons. Not only that, I'll get to it, but we have 3 teams in a row where we're going to actually see that. So when it comes to this Arizona team, we're going to see a wide receiver trio of every wide receiver who's over 6'1" or 6'2". Because I think Fitzgerald is 6'3". I think Hopkins is 6'2" or 6'3", and Hakeem Butler is 6'6". So this will be the first time that we actually see the possibility of what our secondary is really going to be, because our defensive line may be stout along with our linebackers, but we're going to run into a very dangerous situation, especially if they find a way to shorten up these passes to those big wide receivers. I mean, I don't feel that Ronald Darby or Fabian Monroe can really hang with guys that big. Not only that, you're talking about, you have Hakeem Butler, who's a long strider, almost like Terrell Owens was. And at the same time, you're talking about a very dangerous guy in DeAndre Hopkins. So I do feel that we're going to actually lose this game. I don't feel we're going to lose by a lot, but we're going to lose the game. And I feel that the score is going to be 32-23 in favor of the Arizona Cardinals. Again, we're still going to see Dwayne Haskins still work his mojo. We're still going to see Terry McLaurin do what he does. But we are going to see that when a team just has way more talent than your team does, they're going to sit up there and really, really play, be a devastating game for us. Now we got the Cleveland Browns again, the second team that just has overwhelming talent. Because again, on offense, you're talking about the Browns have a tight end tandem that is going to be very good this year. When you think about Austin Hooper and David Njoku, and then you're also talking about the wide receiver duo of OBJ and Jarvis Landry, along with their big running back Nick Chubb. So with that being said, I do feel we're going to lose this game, and I feel that this will be the first game that we actually get that blowout. We might get the blowout. And what I mean by that is that with the Raging Tide, you know, I don't think that we have the talent to quite match up to Cleveland at this point, which isn't a bad thing, but I understand. But also, this will be the first game where COVID will play a role. Well, the third games of the season, the third week of the season, I think we'll start to see stars go out due to COVID, because the fear of COVID and things like that. I think the NFL will initially lie about what's happening, but as the season goes along, they're going to start changing things up. And I'll also tell you what's going to happen in the fourth and fifth games of the season. But I think this will be our first glimpse into what the COVID issue is. But again, still with that being said, Cleveland just has far more talent than we do. Again, we might see Dwayne Haskins struggle just mightily in this game, but I do feel that if they do it, Antonio Gibson and McKissick may actually have very good games, because they have young linebackers that are coming into Cleveland. So I do feel that the Raging Tide will get the opportunity to really break up that whole thing. So, but again, I still think that this will be a bad loss for us. I have us losing 35-20. A lot of our points may get in garbage time, but I do feel that we're going to probably be seeing a very bad. We're going to get, because of their weapons on offense, we're going to get a very bad kind of like blowout-ish type game starting out with Cleveland. Our next game, so this is like the next game where we're going to see a bunch of talent on a team. And this team is far more talented than the two teams that I talked about previously. We're going to see the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this team is super stacked across the board with talent on offense and defense. And because of that, we're going to suffer probably the worst loss of the season. Dwayne Haskins will have probably maybe one or two picks in this game. I will say that. He still will have a good passing game, but he will have the one or two picks that's going to be costly in the game. I see Baltimore kind of blowing us out. Again, maybe I say that the score might be, I don't want to say it, but I do see like 42-17, 42-20, something like that. Also with Robert Griffin III throwing a touchdown towards the end of the game, because it's going to get that out of hand. I really do feel that. We're going to see, again, the COVID play a role in this game. But, again, because they just have so much talent. I mean, hell, J.K. Dobbins is their fourth running back on the depth chart. Even though it's just a depth chart still, the fact that you got a guy that big in quality at running back as your fourth guy is incredible. So that's a testament to how good Baltimore has drafted and how good Baltimore is just there across the board when it comes to talent. So I do feel that we lose that game again. We will still see Terry McLaurin play a role and still keep chugging along, but I think this may be the first game where he kind of gets shut out just a little bit, but not as much. The next game on our trip will be the LA Rams. The LA Rams, I see us winning. Not only that, I see this will be Dwayne Haskins' bounce back game. This will be the game that I feel Dwayne Haskins will throw for 300 and something yards, and we will actually see what Antonio Gibson, along with McKissick and everybody else, really presents. We may also see Logan Thomas play a role. Even though I don't feel that he's that great of a tight end, we may see him play a role because of the fact that initially the defense is going to try to just shut down McLaurin and try to shut down Gibson and everybody else. And they'll probably try to ignore Logan Thomas because up until that time, he probably wouldn't have been doing much of anything anyway. So I think he's going to sneak in and somehow play a bigger role in this game than what we expected. And like I said, again, we're still going to see Dwayne Haskins have a bounce back game. In this game, I think he's going to throw for maybe 3 to 4 touchdowns. He's going to have a very solid game. With that being said, I think the Washington Raging Tide will, in fact, beat the Rams. I'll say the score will be 32-23. And the reason for that is because I really do feel that, again, the Raging Tide does have a better team than the Rams. Don't get me wrong. Donald Penn will play a massive role in this game because he will be going up against the left side of this offensive line. So they're going to try to find ways to get him out of the game. But I still feel that we will win this game. So currently at this point, after 5 games, I have the Raging Tide at 2-3 when it comes to it, along with 3 losses in a row. So that's actually not that bad. Now we got the New York Giants. The New York Giants, to me, did not do enough in their all season to really complement or go against what the Raging Tide has on defense. And because of that, I feel, again, our defensive line will play a massive role in this game. This will be the game that we actually see multiple people along that line get 2 or more sacks. And I know that sounds crazy because you're talking about the possibility of 4 guys walking away. 4 guys with each of them getting 2 sacks. You're talking about 8 sacks, almost 10 sacks from one defensive line. I think with this game, we're going to actually possibly see that a 10-sack game for one defensive line. I think it's going to happen in this game. And I think we're also going to see, I feel we're also going to see the Raging Tide linebackers and defensive line shut down Saquon Barkley for the first time in the season. Not only that, we're going to see them completely eliminate Daniel Jones in this passing game. They didn't do enough to put a lot of pieces around Daniel Jones. So because of that, I do feel the Washington franchise will in fact beat the New York Giants. And that score will actually be 35-23. I got the Raging Tide actually putting up big numbers. Not only that, we're talking about Dwayne Haskins having another 300-yard passing game as well. I don't see him getting benched anytime soon. I don't think he's going to be benched at all this season, but he's not going to be under duress in the 2 games. So now currently, after 6 games, I got the franchise at 3-3. 3 games already, still time to go. Up next, we had the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to lose this game. The reason why we're going to lose this game is because, again, we're talking about a team that has an extreme amount of talent on it. But they will be down several players due to injury and COVID. Now, I do feel that when it comes to injury, they're going to miss some of their guys on that defensive line. They're going to be missing a few guys on that defensive line, and I think they're going to be missing a linebacker and a couple safeties. I think that all that's going to be due to COVID. But on the opposite end, the Redskins will have people gone to COVID as well. I hope the NFL does everything in their power to put these players in a bubble prior to games, because you're talking about there's a 14-day delay when it comes to them being out for COVID testing. So you're talking about players possibly missing 2 games in a row. We're going to see that. We're going to see star players start missing games. Dallas, they're going to have guys out. But I think they're going to have guys out that might be coming back from COVID after missing 2 games prior to this. So with that being said, I do feel that the talent in Dallas is a little bit better offensively and defensively than the Redskins. But we will see a very close game because, again, when it comes to the NFC East, especially the Dallas Cowboys, the Redskins do play a very good game. Not only that, they're actually here. They don't play well here. They normally play well in Dallas, but they're going to be here. And I do feel the Redskins, the Raging Tide will give the Cowboys a very, very stout, very stout game when it comes to it being very close. With that, I see the score with Dallas being, I'll say, it's going to probably be 33 to 27. It's going to be a very close game. Skins, the Raging Tide will probably lose at the end of the game, but I can see that happening. After that, the Washington franchise has a bye, and then we see the New York Giants again. So New York will then be here in Washington for this game. So with that, again, I feel that this will be, again, a game that the Raging Tide will win. I think this will be the first time that we see the Raging Tide actually sweep the Giants. We swept the Giants before, I think. I can't remember. But either way, I know this will be the first time we see we will see us sweep an NFC East team. So this will definitely happen. Again, this time around, we will really see the defense step up big time. We'll see Dwayne Haskins have another big game. We'll see Terry McLaurin have a big game. We'll also see Emman have a big game as well, because he will be playing a very major role in this season. But we'll also see a little bit of the emergence of AGG as he starts to come on. He's going to get an opportunity to really showcase his talent, because his height and his size is going to be a matchup nightmare for a lot of teams. And we're going to see him actually play a role in this game. We're also going to see, for the first time, Antonio Gibson become this, I think he will become this Marshall Faulk-ish type of guy. We're going to really see him grow into his own as they start to feed him the ball running, and they're going to also feed him the ball passing. The reason for that is because we're going to see our first major injury go down. And I know people don't want to hear this, but we will see our first major injury go down, and it will be J.D. McKissic going down, because of the fact that he would have gone down to the point at where they're going to have to rely on Antonio Gibson, and because they will have Bryce Love currently like on the healthy scratch list, you're going to see a lot of Antonio Gibson and Peyton Barber this game. So with that being said, again, I think the Redskins will win this game. It will be a little bit closer. I think the score will be 35-27. The Redskins will, in fact, win this game. We next got the Detroit Lions at Detroit. Detroit isn't quite the team that they used to be. I think that Matt Patricia will be on the hot seat and possibly fired at this point. I don't feel that the Washington franchise will lose this game. The Raging Tide will actually win this game, which is kind of crazy because, again, I said that they'll have like maybe a 3 or 4 game improvement, and so far you're talking about they already got 4 wins in the season. So that's actually not that bad when you really think about, the possibility of what the Washington franchise can do. Here we are again, another game. where they can probably get the win, and I feel that they will get the win. One thing about Matt Stafford is that he's very fidgety in the pocket when he's pressured. This defensive line and linebacking core will get to Matt Stafford and will cause havoc. Now, I will say this. Marvin Jones is not a joke. He will be dangerous each and every time, but I just feel that we will win this game. We will win a very close game, and we will squeak by with a field goal. The Raging Tide will win this game 23-20 on a field goal at the end of the game. So with that, the Raging Tide will then have 5 wins on the season. After that, we got the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, this is a game that we could win. We could actually win this game. With that being said, I do feel that they're going to probably be a little overconfident because they would have walked into the game with a 2-game winning streak, and they're going to lose this game accidentally on a fumble by Antonio Gibson. It's not going to be a fumble that he was expecting. It's just going to be one of those situations where he's doing too much. And I think that's where it's going to happen. We're going to go down to Cincinnati. It's not like they have more talent than us or anything of that such nature, but it will be one of those things where we will go down accidentally to the Cincinnati Bengals. We're going to go down. I say the score will be something in the range of, I think it will be 27-25, some weird type of numbering like that, because for some reason I just see that happening. But I think that they will probably come into the game a little overconfident and mess around and lose that game. Then we go to Dallas in basically a primetime game, kind of like a primetime game, but it's a 4:30 game. So with that being said, again, I do feel that the Dallas Cowboys will beat us. I think at this point, COVID, they would have gotten so much testing in. Not only that, I think at this point the NFL would have expanded the rosters, would have told everybody you can now put all your practice squad members on the roster and sign new practice squad members. But again, Dallas will beat us. Dallas will beat us. This will be a game that, again, I think that this will be a game where the defensive line will play a major role, but we'll finally see Dallas's whole team back together. And I think that we're going to actually see Dak Prescott prove to everyone that he's not a joke and he's deserving of all the money he should be getting in Dallas. So we're actually going to see Dak Prescott possibly throw for 400 yards against us. I know it's hard for me to want to say that, but we will see that. Ezekiel Elliott won't be a massive factor in this game, but we will see Dak Prescott play a major role in this game. And we're going to actually see him throw for a lot of yardage. On the opposite side of that, we're going to actually see Dwayne Haskins again have a struggle game, but he will throw for a lot of yardage. So with that, we will go down to Dallas. The score will more than likely be 27-23, but we will go down to Dallas. Next is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this will be a game that will basically humble us all. Just like the Baltimore game will humble us, this Pittsburgh Steelers game will humble us as well. Pittsburgh will come in and they will beat us up, beat us down. They're going to show a different blocking scheme when it comes to our defensive line. Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to play a massive role in this game. He's going to walk away with possibly a pick or two from Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins is going to have a bad game this game because he's not going to, prior to that, he wouldn't have really seen many safeties that's like Minkah Fitzpatrick. And Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to be a devastating player in this game. Along with their defensive line, also with TJ Watt, we're going to see this is going to be one of the most humbling games that the Raging Tide ever sees this season. And because of that, we're going to go down to Pittsburgh. We're going to go down bad to Pittsburgh. The score is going to be 35-14. Yeah, it's going to be that bad. So, yeah, it's going to be a rough game for us to watch, but we're going to really see that we're still not there yet with Pittsburgh. Our next game is the San Francisco 49ers. Trent Williams We go to San Francisco and we see Trent Williams. Trent Williams is going to have a point to prove to everyone. I see the possibility of Trent Williams doing everything in his power to show you that he's gonna try his best to shut Montez Sweat completely down. Now, I know this is like deep into the season and normally Trent is hurt about this time, but I think that Trent this time is going to be a guy who's going to be playing the whole season, because understand, he wants his next big contract. So with that, I feel that we will go down to San Francisco. Now, Dwayne Haskins will have a very good game, and Jimmy Garoppolo won't play a major role in this game, but we will lose this game, but it will be very close, very, very close. I mean, even last year, you think about it, it was in the rain and it was in Washington, but because of the fact that it's going to be in San Francisco and everything like that, we will lose, but I think the score will be 17-14 in a loss. So we're going to lose the game at the last minute. It's not going to be a blowout game or anything like that, but San Francisco in reality is a little bit better than us. The next game is the Seattle Seahawks. This team will be trying its best to get back to its former glory and try to make its way marching into the Super Bowl. Again, this will be a loss for us. I know people don't want to hear this. We will play a role, but Russell Wilson is just a different type of quarterback. The fact that he's never considered the best quarterback in the league is always incredible to me, because he's actually way better than Russell Wilson. I mean, than Aaron Rodgers when it comes down to everything. And you're talking about a guy who's done the most with the least amount of things around him. This is going to be a game where we really see a quarterback actually cause devastation for our defensive line that they were not expecting. Russell Wilson is a handful when it comes to that. And because that is going to be the thing, along with DK Metcalf playing a massive role in this game, we're going to lose this game. We're going to lose this game, but we're going to lose this game very, very closely. This is not going to be a game where it's going to be a complete blowout or anything like that. This is going to be a game that we lose, again, very closely. But again, not too close that it looks like we actually did something. But we're going to lose a very close game. This game, I think we're going to lose, again, 27-23. We're going to see, again, Dwayne Haskins still keep performing as he does. And at the same time, we're going to actually hear the talks of Dwayne Haskins being a Pro Bowler towards the end of the season, or an alternate Pro Bowler at the end of the season, because he's going to be playing so well, along with McLaurin being considered a Pro Bowler and our entire defensive line being considered for the Pro Bowl. So we're going to act, for the first time, we'll actually have multiple players actually given the opportunity to be Pro Bowl players. So that is going to be one of the most exciting games. Our next game is the Carolina Panthers. Now, we will actually see Ron Rivera in his first revenge against the team that fired him. Now, a lot of people that's currently in Washington are actually former Panthers, so they're going to have a massive role and a massive thing to play when it comes to these teams. And because of that, the Raging Tide will in fact beat the Carolina Panthers, and they will beat them bad, 32. I think the score is going to be 32-17. They will go in there really trying to prove a point, even though Ron Rivera is, probably not. That's another thing. Ron Rivera won't be there to coach this game. I need to say that, because there will be several games that Ron Rivera probably won't be there to coach. But this Carolina game, I think he will not be there to coach this game. And with that being said, there's going to be the whole thing of wanting to win it for Ron. And that will then play a massive role in the whole concept of what's really happening, what's really going on with the team and everything like that. Like I said, this Washington franchise, we will win this game 32-17. It will be a big game for us. And we will definitely see 100% Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, and Dwayne Haskins have another big game. We're going to really see what the league people votes and how everybody around the league sees the Raging Tide franchise when it comes to, do they really think that everybody is Pro Bowl worthy, or are they going to sit up there and go against it because of the fact that they want to see their other people from their teams make it? So we're definitely going to see what happens there. Last but not least, we see the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles would have had a nightmare of a season because they went through so many injuries and everything like that. But they will be here to prove a point. And because they will be here to prove a point, we will lose this game because they will have the full complement of their whole team coming back from, most of them coming back from injury. And with that being said, they're going to do everything in their power to win this game. And they will squeak out the win against us. So they will beat us 27-23. We will lose this game. And with that being said, that will be the Raging Tides franchise. So with that, I actually have them winning in Philadelphia on week 1. I have them winning with the Rams in week 5. I have them beating the Giants in week 6, which is 3 games. Then I have them beating the Giants in week 9, which is 4 games. I had them beating Detroit, which is 5 games, in week 10. I have them losing several games in a row. So at the end of the day, the Raging Tide will actually be, 6-10 at the end of the season. I actually have them with 6 games. I told y'all they will have a 3 to 4 game improvement from last year. I mean, Philadelphia, the Rams, the Giants, they will sweep. They will actually sweep the Giants. So I mean, that's 4 games, 5, and the next win will come at Carolina. So yeah, 6-10. I have the Washington franchise, the Raging Tide, going 6-10 in this season. We will see Pro Bowl possibilities for Haskins, for the entirety of the defensive line. We'll probably see a linebacker be put into contention with that. I think it will be Sean Dion Hamilton that will get the opportunity versus Cole Holcomb, because a lot of people like Cole Holcomb, but I think Sean Dion Hamilton will get it. Also, I think Landon Collins will also get a nod as well. Early in the season, we'll see Troy Apke benched for Cameron Curl. Trust me on that. We will see Troy Apke get benched early in the season for Cameron Curl. Other than that, again, like I said, we will have several Pro Bowlers that will be up for a chance to actually make it. We will get a very beneficial look at this team. I do feel that the games that I chose are the games they will win. Like I said, the Cincinnati game, only reason why I think they will lose that game is because of the fact that I think they will be coming in on a 2-game winning streak, and they'll be a little high on themselves, and they'll mess around and accidentally lose that game. Other than that, this has been your man John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.